my name is Thomas Seewoester. I'm the kind of Vice President of Site Operations, or the site head here for the Juncos operation. I'm almost 25 years with the company, have seen many, many places before this one. It's the largest kind of biopharmaceutical installation and campus on the island. It's 200 acres large since the beginning, but we added a lot of different buildings and plants to the site. We have 4 manufacturing plants on this site. And it's about like 3,000 people that come in over the course of the week, about 2,200 full-time staff and about 800 contract manufacturer and service provider. So it's a large operation here. We are in the Amgen network, the only site that has a full end-to-end capability. So what does this mean? Typically, biopharmaceuticals are manufactured in 3 stages. The bulk drug substance stage, we have 2 plants for that on the campus, a microbial and a mammalian plant. Both of them are using living cells to make the biopharmaceutical in large quantities. The second stage is the drug product manufacturing plant. We have 1 of those. In that plant, you take the bulk material and you actually fill it into individual doses. So what you see in a syringe, in a vial, in a device, that's where this is happening in that second stage. And the third stage is the packaging plant. That is where this primary container gets put into a box, into a carton, with instructions for the patients or the physicians. It's very country and language specific, right? And from there, we distribute here in about 70 countries directly from Puerto Rico. So that's the kind of big operation here. So you asked me about assessing it. It's a spectacular kind of operation, right? Since the beginning, right? We were one of the pioneers here 32 years ago on the island, and within the Amgen network, which is relatively small and growing, it is the flagship site. For Amgen, it is the cornerstone of the manufacturing backbone. A large portion of the portfolio, we have about like 25 products here on the site, are seeing 1, 2, or all 3 stages here on the island, right? So it's very important for the company globally, and it's a kind of place to stay here kind of for a long time. We've invested $4.5 to $5 billion into this campus over the years. This is not something you lift and shift like overnight, right? So we take a longer term view here in what is happening right now in the outside world. We are not inclined to act quickly here. We are committed to this island for a long time. And maybe one of the unique things I want to kind of point out here to the Puerto Rican footprint, right, compared to other locations I have led and have operated in. Puerto Rico has a very, very unique strength to it that is rarely to be found globally, right? And that is that on this island, since over 30 years, you have built an environment of about 50 biopharma companies and 50 medical device companies, together with an extremely strong academic kind of backbone that continuously kind of provides new talent that find their kind of jobs in one of these kind of 100 companies, right? So it's a unique situation. Not a lot of other places have this in the world. So I think the island faces two things in my mind here from our perspective. One is, of course, the local energy crisis, right? That is spanning beyond our company or beyond kind of, it involves everybody on the island, right? So that is certainly on the forefront of the local government, and we provide some perspective on that. But then more relevant maybe to our industry is the global competitiveness that Puerto Rico likes to retain, right? Global minimum tax is in flux, in play kind of globally here, right? For some of the companies on the island, the mainland is a kind of major competitive kind of place to watch out for. For industries like ours is actually the international kind of place where we provide some perspective of how other also attractive places in the world, such as Singapore or Ireland, kind of position themselves, right? So it's really a kind of a national play, but also a global play, if you want to kind of look at that big 50% of the GDP manufacturing. First of all, to answer it kind of quickly, it is not impacting it. But kind of, I want to really say it's a unique asset, right? Like you just pointed out, right? Puerto Rico as a territory is considered made in America, but has a kind of slightly different tax opportunity, if you want to kind of frame it like this. So it's a very unique space. And I think if the government and the collective manufacturing group here, all the companies here play it right, it can continue to be a strong asset like it has been over the last 30 years globally. The established companies here look at kind of continued operation. We here kind of, I invest in all of the 4 plants kind of, right, over the last few years, very continuously to bring new innovation, new technology to the plants here to stay on the cutting edge and not get outdated, if you want to look at this like that. But we are really staying competitive here. Again, I think the point is energy, right? If you are established here on the island like we are, we have mastered the fragile electrical grid, if you want. But for somebody who comes new to the island, it's an extra hurdle to overcome. And some of the companies probably pause here a little bit to understand this fully. But Invest Puerto Rico, as well as the government, provide additional kind of incentives and support to overcome that hurdle as a newcomer to the island. We are not solar. We have contemplated that a few times, and it is kind of in our long range. So we are blessed and lucky that since the beginning, we have 2 independent electrical high voltage feeder line, one from the north and one from the south. In addition, we have diesel backup generators to operate the site 10 days kind of completely. And we are kind of right now introducing the 5th largest liquefied natural gas plant on the island to actually switch to liquefied natural gas as a more cleaner energy, adding another roughly 3 days of operation should both of the feeder lines go down. We have direct connection and contact to Luma for the distribution if there's any planned or unplanned kind of interruptions. Within kind of 2 minutes, the entire site is on backup power. So we are very, very fast. We experience this a few times every year. So we are quite resilient given the current electrical infrastructure on the island, but we are not solar. Well, we all experience the big outages that the island is experiencing, right? We are within 2 minutes, the entire site is running backup on our 16 diesel generators that we can operate for 10 days without any refuel, but typically we get every 3-4 days a refuel. I want to point out this is not just a cheap installation of this backup kind of system, right? The electrical switch gear has to work very fast and reliably, that in a very short amount of time you provide again the self-generated electricity here. But here making sure everybody gets a good education here, and in Puerto Rico people tend to kind of look for good education as well. So we work directly with the big colleges and universities across the island. And again, to my earlier point, the island is blessed of having such kind of great places, such as in Mayagüez. For us, the pivotal moment right now, I think, that is facing our industry is upskilling, being able to upskill existing talent that is already working for us, but also new talent for the exponentially progressing digital advancement, right? That has no doubt will profoundly impact the way we are doing manufacturing and probably everything in our life, kind of in an exponentially progressing timeline. Working with artificial intelligence since many years, the company as a pioneer in biotechnology, we are partnering very strategically with other pioneers in the artificial intelligence industry since several years directly. We have a custom kind of ChatGPT installation, for instance, where our own knowledge is kind of protected and used, so we can use artificial intelligence very elegantly and fast to the 40 years of scientific experience and history we have within Amgen, plus the external kind of experience. I think it will augment this in a very kind of intelligent way. It will certainly, I think, take over a very simple, repetitive task, kind of probably at the beginning, and then kind of more advanced ones. But that's why we are talking about upskilling, right? Kind of having people reimagine and helping them to reinvent kind of their roles. This is not, we are not looking this like a job replacement. It's really making our existing staff more intelligent, more faster, because in our world, what counts now most or kind of a lot is speed. You need to kind of make decisions extremely fast in an increasingly complex world. And this is where artificial intelligence can help you within kind of seconds and minutes to kind of digest very complex situations and get it to a kind of more digestible form and work from that stage on kind of then with the team. The company is working in 4 big therapeutic areas, right? Inflammation, general medicines, and rare diseases here. And the rare disease part was a recent acquisition that we made here. Yeah, we make kind of several kind of big products kind of here on the side. One well-known in the industry is Repatha. A lot of different products. As I said, 25 products. You just look at our portfolio of the company and you can reasonably say it's kind of 3/4 of it. What's next for kind of our side is really the digital advancement, upskilling 3,000 people that education-wise and maybe experience-wise so far largely are novices and starting it, right? How do you make this really interesting? And that was one of the aspects that attracted me also to come to the side of pioneering and advancing something across a large population kind of team, and not just like a couple of hundred people, right? So 3,000 people across the full spectrum of work is an extremely kind of challenging kind of opportunity, but the outcome can be kind of game-changing and transformative, right? So that's kind of what is next for the company. Really, kind of our mission is to provide end-to-end manufacturing services with a global, reliable supply, right? So how do I translate this into kind of the vision? The vision is really to set standards in excellence, drive the digital work. It has 3 pillars for me in my mind here. The first one is, of course, the rock bottom or the foundation, operational excellence and reliability, right? We talked about the electrical reliability, but there's many aspects to the supply reliability and all of this. The second kind of pillar is innovation and future readiness. That's kind of where we talked about this AI that we just talked about, right? Kind of in what we do there. And the third one is really the people and the culture, right? The collective behavior, wanting to progress, caring for each other. So that's kind of my third kind of pillar in my local vision here as the site that I'm pursuing here. So kind of culture and people, innovation, future readiness, and operational excellence and reliability.